Well, to see some of the symptoms are showing up in other ways physiologically and as we're looking at the body. And that gets back into the whole CPR and the autonomic nervous system and why some people are more active than others, naturally more active than others, may be more related to what the level, adrenaline levels, I'm going to use that in general term, but what levels of adrenaline work for them to manage their throat and keep things in balance so their body is not threatened versus somebody else. What the work that's been done in oral systemic balance indicates and shows repeatedly, and it's replicable and it's in the literature, that posture is a factor, that clenching and grinding the teeth are a factor, because when you grind your teeth, you're moving your jaw forward, and we find that when you deal with that issue fully, the patient has no need, they're not grinding, they're just not doing it. It's the jaw-tongue reflex was studied in Japan and demonstrated clenching and grinding help open the airway. It destroys the teeth. It relates to most of the TMJ problems. On the other hand, it keeps us alive. So that, and the third part is the increased state of fight or flight ongoingly. So you may see it in other ways, and there are situations where you have a athlete who's at their peak suddenly dying of a heart attack. Well, that's pointing out that there's more, that we need to look more and see, if we were willing to look more and see how is the autonomic nervous system working, what's going on here day and night, how is the body needing to compensate, is there ease of swallowing, speaking, and breathing. When you hook a patient up to heart rate variability and you work with an appliance and really take it to a point of balancing things, it's amazing how you can see changes in that heart rate variability right there in real time. And you can see changes in posture real time where they put an appliance in this is going into the more advanced work, oral systemic balance, that's been balanced. And you'll see they're half an inch or inch and a half taller with it, and they take it out, and a minute later they're back, their posture's off again. It's amazing when you have people hooked up to a intensive care monitor, and we've actually observed in managing the mouth to create ease of swallowing and speaking and breathing, a patient who doesn't have T waves have T waves. And I'm talking unfiltered EKG, where it's crisp and clear rather than filtered. So there's a lot going on, but it's just the way the first year of dental school, it appears it's just how the body is designed and works. I don't see why it would be a mystery.
Terrific. Hey, just as an aside, is Capital University still around?
No, unfortunately, it folded quite a few years ago. They could just not get enough funding.
Unfortunately.
There are, as you know, many people volunteered time. It must have volunteered all their time. Sometimes they got some reimbursement for travel, and people came from great distances to teach there, but things change, as you know.
Sure, that's unfortunate. So, well, if people have this problem or challenge with sleep apnea and they've had the appropriate diagnostic evaluation and have been seen by a sleep specialist, how would they, I mean, obviously their sleep specialist might know of a qualified dentist in their area who has these options, but can you give some criteria or guidelines for the individual seeking to identify a highly qualified, competent dentist who can walk them through the process and identifying the right appliance for them and being able to optimally customize and fit it for them?
Okay, well, within this, you're going to need you'll need to go with the structure. It's out there, and let's say out there publicly and professionally, what have you, to get some input. The organization that I co-founded was originally called the Sleep Disorders Dental Society, and then the name was changed. I won't get into that, but sometimes people need to find a way to just have some consultant be with them and go through their boilerplate. So they came up with a new name, called it the Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine, which I felt confused with dentists who put people to sleep to work on them, but nonetheless it became the Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine. And that organization is known, and you can find them on through the web. It's at www.aadsm.org. And that is the organization that originally was co-founded to represent dentists who with an interest in this. So to become a member, all you need to do is pay your dues. They have annual meetings. They have educational, meetings that are specific, that are non-annual. Aside from that, and of course, the annual meetings have all types of courses in them relating to sleep apnea and oral appliance therapy. And that would be the first resource. And then they've developed an examination for becoming what's called a diplomat, which means that you've demonstrated that you've treated some people. Now that examination has become more and more rigorous with years, as years have gone by. One of the advantages of being a co-founder is you get a chance to write the questions for the initial examination. And of course, we treated many, many, many people, but a few of us didn't have to take the original written one. We wrote it. And that's, of course, it's changed. It's gotten much more extensive in nature in terms of what they're asking and the number of cases you need to present and explain. So it's there to determine that a dentist has worked with sleep physicians and has been treating sleep apnea. It's based to follow the standards of care of the Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine, which I discussed a bit before. When you look up, if you go up and go into their website, you can go to find a dentist, and it'll list all the dentists who are members, and it'll highlight those who are diplomats.
Great. So that's one resource, the AADSM. And are there other resources that other dentists who have an interest in this might be a member of? And what other criteria that would a person use to select one? Say there were more than one in their area. I mean, to identify the higher qualified one or the better, more competent.
Well, unfortunately, the AADSM is, or the way it's set up right now is the only organization that's, officially recognized by the medical community, and can provide the kind of information I just discussed. There had been other groups that and still have attempted to form their own organizations. Part of it was related to infighting at one time regarding specific dental appliances. Somebody invented something, and an appliance that wasn't being utilized much by members of the Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine. So he began working with a lot of the dentists who have TMJ practices, and a lot of them adopted his particular appliance, and they have an organization. However, I'm not familiar with the name of it. I believe it has something to do with some organization of clinical sleep dentistry. But most of those members are also members of the Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine. In addition to that, given that many dentists have invented appliances, and as I mentioned, a lot of the research is coming from what money they put out to do research to show that their appliances are working in one way or another. Some of these groups are doing heavy duty marketing, and they're attempting to form their own academies to attract dentists to them. So there are dentists who have taken courses from different appliance makers. One is Somnomed, one is TAP. There may be a few others, and they're attempting to promote things. And they had come to Academy Dental Sleep Medicine meetings, but as you know, as far as business is concerned, the more you can sell, the better off you are. So sure. There's that aspect, and some of them are dental labs are promoting make an appliance, make money in your practice. So sure. So lots of dentists and there are tons of them going ahead and calling up a lab and saying, I want to make an appliance, and they'll they have a patient who's snoring or says they have sleep apnea, and they'll go ahead and send them molds to the lab, and sometimes they'll provide them with a relationship for the jaws, which is mandatory. It should be done a certain way, and have them make an appliance. More often that's not successful because they haven't learned enough to mind other P's and Q's. Some of the dentists will say, I don't want to be involved in this. It's interrupting the flow of my patients. let somebody else do it. Others will take further training and most likely join the academy or go to some courses.
If someone wanted to contact you for your services, where are you located at and how would they do that?
Well, I'm in Falls Church, Virginia. I would say go to my website. I write monthly articles regarding these things. I explain why I do what I do. My website is designed to bring people to me who have a similar philosophy and who want to work together in partnership, and to those who are looking for something else to not bring them to me.
Okay. Great.
So,
Yeah, it's a good discriminator. So,
yeah,
and what's the name of your website?
it would be www.amstraussdds.com. So it's my first initial, my second initial, my last name, and my dental degree.
All right, great.
And then I have another one called is OAT for the number 4 me, or another one is OAT for you, number 4. OAT standing for oral appliance therapy. But the easiest one would be just to use my name and my dental degree.
Great. All right. Well, I thank you for sharing your information with us and helping provide some really solid guidelines for the many people who struggle with this issue.
It's my absolute pleasure to be able to do that. I thank you for inviting me on. I look forward to someday at some point where you can have the opportunity to on your own observe the greater potential of this and the around body effect as it relates to oral systemic balance. I know that some of your colleagues have been there, and patients of Dietrich Klinghardt have had care, and the results have been confounding, and it's incredible how it supports every single thing you've been doing, all of us have been doing all our lives.
Well, great. Maybe I'll have a chance to do that someday.
Thank you again.